this is Scott at supportbahrainrights.com, and I wanted to express very important concerns that I have for the Bahrain Commission of Inquiry, and I wanted to also provide some suggestions for it. And I do hope that Sharif Bassiouni and the staff are watching this. This video is made for you. I do hope that you are watching this and taking this into account. First of all, I do know that you have very good people on the staff who have done great work in America and elsewhere. And so please do try to take this as constructive criticism, as helpful advice, not as a full-scale attack on you. First, there are really three things I want to emphasize. One is that you do need to understand the mindset of the loyalists, of the opposition, of the human rights activists, and of their critics. And you do need to understand their fears and their anxieties. Otherwise, and you can do that without losing your independence. Otherwise, you are going to do things that badly hurt people, and you're going to be manipulated without even knowing it. Second thing I wanted to emphasize is that we are human. It's a difficult situation. People are going to make mistakes, and you should stop blaming everyone else for your mistakes. It is a learning process. This is a difficult process, but so far, Sharif Bassiouni's letters and these official statements blame everyone else for their mistake. Blame everyone else for the Sharif Bassiouni's mistakes or the Commission's mistakes. And it blames people in a way that's very condescending. And that is very bad because it reinforces the same problems, the same types of behaviors that led to these problems, and further, while further bashing the people that are supposed to be helping. And the third thing that I want to emphasize is that you will need to have two phases, a data gathering phase and a solutions phase. You'll need to have those two phases in order to be able to, one, gather the data in an unbiased manner, but also come up with solutions that take into account people's fears, sensitivities, mindsets, so that they are not destructive and that they are not manipulative either. So I'm going to now expand on these 3 points. First thing I want to emphasize is you have made major mistakes because you don't understand the very real fears that huge segments of the population have. And anybody who even is remotely familiar with it would have been able to easily see the major responses you would have had. So the first thing is, before you even start a data gathering phase, you need to become acclimated to your environment. You need to try to understand the loyalists, understand the opposition movement, understand their arguments, understand their media outlets, and also understand the human rights activists' fears, and understand their critics. So if I go to a foreign country, I might need to learn their language, their customs, their foods, their mannerisms. That doesn't mean I lose my independence, but I need to do that in order to function. And in this case, if you don't do that, you're basically going to ignore the very huge fears that parts of the population have, and you're going to hurt them, and you're also going to be manipulated by the sources that you say you want to be independent of. So the second thing is that you do need to stop blaming everyone else for your mistakes. The first letter from Sharif Bassiouni, basically towards at least Nabil Rajab, was basically saying, how dare you criticize me? I'm great. We've got all this integrity, without really asking, well, does he have some real fears here that are driving him this way? Do we need to address that or be aware of that? Did I possibly make a mistake that maybe we do need to try to correct? And so that was the first thing. Now, in this Bahrain Commission of Inquiry statement on events at their offices, 16th August 2011, it basically now is blaming activists, blaming media outlets. It's now blaming people that came to the office, blaming people that were upset about some statements that were made to the press that shouldn't have been made, and then so blaming all of them, and then reaffirming their great integrity. I would be actually a lot more impressed if you were humble, you had that humility, and so that way you could be sensitive and listening to the people that you're supposed to be trying to help. You're talking about the Bahraini people almost as though they are animals in this. And if anything, the Bahraini people coming to the center that way means that they really care. Maybe the proper thing would be to say, okay, there's a misunderstanding here. Please come back tomorrow. We're going to send out a clarifying statement. We know many of you want to be here. We'll try to accommodate you. Yes, people were angry about the comments that were made in the press, but that's because, again, you don't have a good understanding of people's fears and or the outlets you were dealing with. So all of that was predictable. The Bahraini people, loyalists and opposition, even though I'm strongly opposed to the government, I don't think the government's very honest. I think it's very dishonest. I think that the loyalists and oppositionists do have many sincere beliefs that drive them, and many of them are sophisticated people. And you can't talk about the Bahraini people as though they don't know what they're doing or as though they're animals, because they're extremely sophisticated people. And the third thing I want to emphasize is that you should have two phases. The data gathering phase, you should comment on what exists. Do not take positions on unprovables, because then you're denying, well, I don't have the data for this, so I'm going to say we do not have evidence, doesn't happen. No, because people are horrified you're going to be denying accountability for major crimes. What you need to do is you comment on what you have data for. But if you don't have data for something, you simply have no position. That's it. Doesn't mean it's yes or no. We're simply going to comment on the data that exists. That first phase allows you to gather information in an unbiased way. The second phase, the solutions phase, that's where you do need to communicate heavily. You do need to understand the mindsets of the loyalists, the opposition, human rights activists, and human rights activist critics, and you need to communicate with them. So that way, in formulating solutions, you'll be able to get the feedback so that you know you are not being manipulated and that you are not badly harming people and ignoring their very real fears. So I do hope that you take this advice seriously. I hope this can be of help to you and to the Bahraini people and to the very high integrity people on your staff. Thank you.